Hi, in this project, we're going to be doing advanced SQL data cleaning, and we're going to be using a real world dataset. We're going to be getting data from the Airbnb data from the Airbnb website. We're going to be using the Paris dataset. We're going to be getting the listings data, and we're going to be doing transformations on that data. We're going to handle duplicates. We're going to handle the text data. We're going to handle how to fill in with the average values for the nulls. Remember, that is done mainly in Python, but now we're going to be doing in SQL. We're going to also handle to deal nulls. Yeah, we're also going to do some transformations on data. Yeah, so that the analyst or the analyst, let me say in this case, if this was an end-to-end project, the analyst would have had so much easiness doing this. Yeah, so this and so much more, yeah, we're going to be doing in this project. We are going to be using Postgres and SQL. Yeah, and let's get right into it. I'll be an instructor for today. Simon Gugi is my name, a data engineer. Yeah, let's get right into the project.
Hi, we are going to get right into this project, and this, as you can see, we have select stuff from, so select everything from listings, and so I'll show you this. We have this data, so many columns by the way, but this is so let me show you how I got the data at the beginning of this project. So you can go to your browser. What I will use, so here, so if I Airbnb, so you're going to be using a real world dataset, not a dataset from Cargo, and I will show you how we can go about cleaning this data. So you get the data, and yeah, any city that you want, maybe this is a city in your home area and you want to analyze. Yeah, so we have many cities, many cities, and you can get, so you'll be using the listings CSV, and has a lot of data. Yeah, so that's what you'll be using. Yeah, so we can go back to our Postgres and we'll delete this, and I'll show you how to get the data from the beginning. So if you have deleted that data, yeah, so if you can run this, it will return nothing. Yeah, it should return nothing. So we'll come here and create. You just run a query to create data that you're going to be loading to this. So this is a SQL query that I've written before, and yeah, it has so many columns, 75 of them. So yeah, a lot of data, Yeah, so if we would run this, okay. So if we run this, we have successfully, and we load the data, so it should be here. So refresh, has listings, and we should import data, and it's already here. CSV, that's the encoding, the options, the header. It should acknowledge the header. The delimiter is CSV, so it's a comma, and columns. These are the columns that are going to be loading, and okay, it should load, and it should be success. Yeah, so successful, and you can see here. So you get rid of that, and you should select everything from listings. You should see this is the data that you're going to be working with. So we have the ID of this table, listing URL, the scrap ID / scrapped, source name, description, neighborhood overview. You can see a lot of clean that you need so many nulls. Yeah, don't know how you deal with all this, but yeah, if you don't know, just, you're like me, you don't know, yeah, stay till the end of the video. Yeah, we have the host ID, host URL, we have the host name. You can see so many inconsistencies in the data, the host about also. You can see, yeah, you can see that's a very wide column. So you can see the response time. You see the host response rate is in percentage. Yeah, we can't, if you want to give this data to an analyst, we cannot give them a percentage. We'll have to do some transformation on that. Host is superhost T and F. That's true and false, but yeah, we need to also work on that. Host neighborhood, that's text. Host listing count, that is numeral, but we need to look at how do we deal with this. Also null values. So yeah, so you can see nulls, latitude, longitude. Yeah, you can see accommodate. So you have nulls in bathrooms. You have bathroom text. Yeah, you can see, like here you can see, if you can show here what I've ticked, it's you see you have 1.5 bathrooms. Yeah, is that ideal? No, you can never have 1.5 bathrooms. So I don't want to say part of the analysis is using common sense, but yeah, you should analyze and look at situations where this data is wrong. We can't have 1.5 bathroom, and in a listing, let's say in an Airbnb, you cannot have one that has a null bathroom. Yeah, so that's also a case. In the bedrooms, you can see we have 0. We cannot have an Airbnb that has no bedroom, that has a null bed. Yeah, we can't have. In an ideal situation, yeah, in an ideal situation, if I'm booking a room, a BNB, I cannot take one that has no bed, no bathroom, and or 1.5 bathroom and no bedroom. Yeah, so you can see the price also. The price also is in text. If you can see, the data type is in text. Yeah, and you can see it has this dollar sign, so you can see, and there is null also. So you also need how to work with that. So minimum nights, minimum maximum nights. So all these are columns that refer to some of the same thing. You can see they are similar. Yeah, so that's data that we don't really need in our data warehouse. So availability, you also be looking how frequent an Airbnb listing is in demand. Yeah, so you can see number of reviews, fast reviews, rating. You can see has some nulls. So how do we deal with these nulls? How do we look at the most, if you are giving this data to an analyst, you need to look which is the most, the best, the best rating, or the best host, or the best Airbnb. That's the listing in our database. We need to look at that. So in the reviews per month. So yeah, so that's the data, and as you can see, we'll get right off to transform the bathrooms. Yeah, as I said, the bathrooms, you can't have 1.5 bathroom. Yeah, so what the first thing we need to do is to get the floor value. I would want to call it truncating for easy understanding. We'll truncate that value. We truncate to, if it's 1.5, we truncate to 1. Yeah, and then we fill the nulls, or we fill any listing that has a 0 bathroom to 1. So if it has null or 0, it will, the default value will be 1. Yeah, so we can come here, and so let me give the, so we are going to truncate, let me say truncate the, now this, truncate the bathrooms value, and set the minimum bathrooms as 1. Yeah, so we'll come to update listings for my table, and then you're going to set bathrooms, and then you're going to have a case statement. So case, so you'll have when bathrooms is null, or bathrooms equals 0, then 1. Then you have an else. You have an else statement. Else, you're going to floor value of the bathrooms. Yeah, and for a case statement, we have to end it. So run this. Oh, what am I running here? That's is the code. So oh, in bathrooms equals 0. Yeah, return successfully. So if you could come and select everything from listings, or you can select bathrooms. Let's see. From listings, you can see it's 1 2 1. Most of them have 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 2 1 1 2 1. Yeah, so set the minimum value to 1. So those that had 1.5, we are setting that value to be the same, for to be 1.5 or 2.5 to be the floor value. So we are going to change for the beds and the bathrooms, so we don't need to write another one, don't need to write another code. So set the beds, just the same thing. So else, we're not, of course, we don't have this now floor. Yeah, so we have this, and just change everything to beds, and yeah, run successfully. And then bedrooms. So this is how we work with nulls. Yeah, so bedrooms. Yeah, make sure you understand how we work with nulls. So you should expect that we have no nulls in our data. Bedrooms. And you should run this. Okay, so this is the update. Yeah, so you should select bathrooms, beds, and bedrooms from listings. Yeah, so you can see you have no nulls. You have 2 3 1 1. Most of them have 2, but you can see we have no nulls. So that's how you deal with null values. So you can see in that data we have transformed it. Yeah, so the other thing I want us to look at is this rating, the ratings, and I want to show something before we okay, okay. So yeah, so if you could come to the ratings. So if I was to give the analyst this data, they would really be having a hard time working with this kind of data, because look at the ratings. We have so many nulls. Almost in every column we have nulls. So in this case, we have someone who was when was booking through the website, or when was checking out, they really did not have that much time to rate. Yeah, and this is common. We normally ignore if there is let's say even in YouTube, when we are asked or prompted to rate the experience, we just ignore a skip. So let's deal with that. We are going to replace the missing review scores across all listings. So we have the columns review scores rating. You can see review scores accuracy, review scores cleanliness, review scores check-in, review scores communication, how the communication, review scores for the location, and review scores for value. Yeah, so just also going to come and going to show you for one, and then I copy paste the rest. So we are going to set, so review scores rating, then you're going to use scoreless, scoreless, scoreless. Then you have review scores rating, review scores rating, then you're going to round, and then you're going to select, going to fill with the average, and then you have review. So these are subquery, reviews scores rating, review scores rating. Yeah, and then you're going to have this to change to numeric, because you're going to cast it, or rather to change, so that you can round off to from listings. Yeah, so to 2 decimal places, to 2 decimal places. Yeah, so let's see this if it will work. So you can run this successfully, so you could return, so let's return this column. So yeah, so you can see we have no null. Yeah, some very nice thing. You have no null and we have rounded off, so you can see on your own. Yeah, this is how we deal with filling with average. Yeah, and I think I'll just copy paste the entire. You just have to change the if it's review scores rating, you're going to change to review scores accuracy, like this one. So I need to put a comma at the end, and copy paste. And then for the reviews scores cleanliness, yeah, and then for reviews scores check-in, yeah, and then for review scores communication, yeah, communication. I thought you had an issue. And then for the last two, just copy paste the two of them. We have the review scores value and the review scores location. Just format this. Yeah, so I'll change this, and I would run this. Yeah, it's successful. And if you could you want to select all, select everything from this. Yeah, so you can see if you have nulls, and you can see it's right, well done. So you can see you have no nulls in any rating. So if I'm going to give this data to the analyst for or the data scientist for any other work, for any other transformation that they want, I think they'll have a very easy time. That's how you deal with nulls. Yeah, so the other one, I have some columns that I want to drop. Yeah, so let me show you which columns. So you can see that you can see this column neighborhood overview has nulls. Yeah, so that's no. Let me see. I want to see this in a bigger. Yeah, so we see we have some columns. Let me show you as you approach this. You can see that column is very wide. So you can see like host picture URL, host neighborhood. Yeah, we have neighborhood group cleaned, has so many nulls. I think we just have to get rid of that column. Yeah, and then bathrooms, you can see bathrooms here. We have bathrooms and bathrooms text. We don't really need that bathroom text, just drop that column. We come to now here, we come to minimum average nights. All these columns, almost all of them have and also calendar updated, all of them have almost the same value, and most of them refer to the maximum of the other one. Yeah, so you can see some will have the same value completely, and we really don't need this data because not be used in any analysis. And also the count listings, we just private rooms listings, we just get rid of these, all of these. Calculate host listings, reviews per month, license has so many nulls, and you cannot fill, you cannot fill with an average, like you cannot fill with an average like how we are doing in other data. So you'll just need to get rid of all of that. So if you could grab these and we'll drop tables. We'll drop, yeah, so comment drop tables. You're going to alter table and drop some columns. Yeah, so all these columns, I think I copied that. Yeah, so run, so drop column license. Okay, okay, let me run all this. Done successfully. Drop column license has an issue. Let me see about that and scrub these two. Okay, so we have this one. So you should have a comma. So yeah, so let me run this. Yeah, column license. So is it that you don't have this table? Let me look at the error from listings. So you can see that so let me look at the license. The license is the text. So drop column license, alt table drop previous per month. So let me see, it has an issue. Okay, so we have scrap ID, we have delete. So have we dropped license still? Yeah, so let me copy paste this and neighborhood listings does not exist. I've already deleted this. So these three error at the end of input. Yeah, so return successfully. So we could select everything from this. Let's look at the data that we have. And so you can see we have dropped some columns. Yeah, drop some columns, and just the way this description is large, and really let me drop those neighborhood overview description. I'll be dropping even that description in the neighborhood overview. Drop these two columns. Okay, so there at the end. Okay, so yeah, we've dropped those two columns. I think taking too much of this. So also host about. Yeah, so host about. Host about. Yeah, so table is too big. Picture URL, host URL, thumbnail URL, amenities. Fortunately, amenities will have to go there, but we can if you are using NLP, giving this data to NLP, we can have some encryption. So maybe drop in host picture URL, host picture URL, host picture URL. And then you have host thumbnail URL, host thumbnail, URL, and then host URL and picture URL. Picture URL and host URL. Also these columns. Okay. So yeah, so successful. So we'll have this, run this listing URL. So that I want to get rid of that. We really don't need that. Listing URL. Okay, so we have yeah, so to run this, you have ID last wrapped, and we have okay, so we have okay, so amenities I've said I'm not getting rid of that. Yeah, so we have some good data, and we'll move to the next thing that you're going to be doing is you're going to be cleaning the text data, but this would have happened if I would not have gotten rid of that. Yeah, so let me do this. Okay, post about neighborhood overview. Yeah, so let me do this. Let me return the data and let's see how I would have cleaned that data. So okay, okay, so let me return this data. So let me delete. Let me show you how we clean the data for the purpose of the video. And I will create this data again. I've deleted the data. If you can run this, you'll see that it's not there. So we'll create the data and then load the data again. And then we transform these so it's created and we'll refresh. You can see listings and you can import data that okay you have imported. So we just first clean the text data and show you how we would have if we would have cleaned this data if we would have decided to retain the text data, that all that description, neighborhood overview and host about. Yeah, so we have the update listings, and this what it does, it standardizes text fields by removing extra spaces. We'll also fill in the nulls with a specific tag. If we have unknown, we can have not provided. We'll also be getting rid of the HTML tags and the space in between and some other tags that you find in data like asterisks. Yeah, so you have update listings, so we have a set name. Then we are going to lower everything. It should lower. Then what happens after this is the rejects, if I'm not wrong. The rejects. And then you're going to replace. So if we are trim and you're going to fill coalesce. You have now are aware with this. Coalesce, then you have name, and then you have unknown. Yeah. And then we have we'll fill this with so it'll change so that, then to remove extra spaces. Okay, so and we have comma and we have that. So run this for the set name. Return successfully. So the name, so you select the name. So you can see, of course, some other words are not in French, but you can see some standardization. Oh, some words are, so this is the Paris dataset, some words are in French. And so we have done some bit of transformation, but if you are using NLP, then it does a very good job. So if I were to copy paste for the description, neighborhood and host about, so this is how it would look like, and I will run. Yeah, it's successful. And yeah, so all of them, you are just like the same. You have the lowering of the text, then you're going to trim, then you're going to fill the nulls, and then you're going to be removing these tags. Yeah, Yeah, so if I go back, I want to go back and do all the transformations that we had done on the data. So that was just a by the way of how to deal with text data in SQL. And well, it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's doable. With practice, you can do it very, very well. Yeah. So the other thing was we dropped the tables. Yeah. So I think that's all that we've done. Yeah. So if you select everything, so I think we should be back to where we were. We should be back to where we were. And yeah. So you have host about, yeah, you still have some data. Still have some data that is here. So host URL, picture URL. But I can see we got rid of that. So we have name description. So name description and host about. Yeah. The data that you've just transformed, name, description, neighborhood overview, and host about, but the neighborhood overview is dropped. So we're going to have this. So let me delete all these and leave one. So drop column name, then drop column description, then drop column post about. Description, yeah, so it's good. Yeah, so go back to post picture URL. Drop that. Post picture URL. Yeah, so we're back to where we were. So the other one, we are going to the acceptance rate and the response rate. We have the rate as so if I can show you that. Now you don't have to go very far to get that data. We have got that's a bit far. If I can remember where my data was. So we have host response rate is text and host acceptance rate is text. We really can't give the analyst this kind of data. So we'll have to get values from percentage strings to integers. And then you're going to fill with the null values with the average. Yeah. Average. This is to see, well, who the hosts that are most, how fast do they respond? Do they even respond? And yeah, so we'll see this. So, but filling with a null, but we are going to fill the nulls with the average, but you're not going to fill the one that have zeros with the average. This is maybe one does not really respond, maybe one does not do the business anymore and they're still logged in the website and they don't respond. So if they have a zero response rate, then we won't change that. Yeah, so we will have the update listings. And yeah, so we are going to set this. The column name is the host response, host acceptance rate. Let's first do that. Host acceptance rate, and then you're going to have a wireless, and yeah, we're going to cast and then round, yeah, and then we're going to replace, yeah. So the host acceptance rate, and we have going to fill that with the percentage. They have a percentage. You're going to replace that with null. If you can read that, then we are good to go. Just that. We're going to fill we're going to take the percentage and we fill with null, and we are casting it as numeric, then to 0 decimal place, and then as an integer. Yeah, so 0 and then as integer. Yeah, so and then we are going to have a select. This will be in a bracket, select, then we're going to cast, then I'm going to round, average, and cast, then replace, then host acceptance rate, host acceptance. So now this we are filling we are casting it to the rounding off. We are rounding off to like to 0 now, like no. Now this, yeah, after now running this, now we are filling this with the average. So let me just copy this because it's a bit long. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to fill this with the average. So this is the code. We would run this successful, and we should see this should see the host acceptance rate if it has changed. That's a bit too far. So host acceptance rate, we have 83, 89, 75, 75, 86, 100, 100, 0. So you can see 0 remains 0. So it means those they don't respond to clients. So maybe they closed. Yeah, we remember we'll have to not fill that with the average. So you have to be very careful of that. So let me change also the host response rate. Change that successful, and we have a host response rate that you see. We have also changed that to numeric, and we are going to clean the pricing data. Yeah, so clean the pricing data. Yeah, and the first thing you're going to do, we are going to remove the $sign and replace it with with blank, and then you're going to change from the text data to numeric. Yeah, so just write that, and then the other one you're going to round off the the nulls with the average. So run that successful. Yeah. So you come back to price. You should see price. You can see we have 134 now. It's yeah. As you have removed the dollar sign, and it should be numeric, by the way. Yeah. So also I'm going to remove duplicates. This is how we remove duplicates in SQL. We are going to make sure that we are making use of the last date. So if you can see here, the last date column is the last script. Last script is the date that is in this data. So if two columns have the same date with the same things, the data or the row with the most common date is retained. Yeah. So you have two same rows, we retain the most recent one. So this is removing duplicates. Yeah, so you're going to be doing a window function of a row number. Yeah, so you're going to be deleting. Yeah, so yeah, so duplicates removing. Yeah, the other one we're going to find in the room in the room type and property type. If we have nulls, in our data, what is the room type? Room type and property type. If we have nulls, we're going to be filling them with the null with the most common one, that's the apartment, in the property type. Yeah, and in the room type, we are going to be filling it with the entire home or apartment. So yeah, so copy that. So this filling nulls. So we have no nulls in those columns. You can look at that. And then you're going to add an occupancy rate column. So you're going to be doing this. So candidate occupancy rate based on availability. Yeah, so you can see the availability in the 365. This is another column that you're going to be adding. Yeah, now we have gone another level higher to look at how available is this listing. Yeah, now if I'm giving this data to the analyst, then they will thank me for easing their work. Yeah, so you have this column. So the occupancy rate is 0.13. Yeah, so you can see the availability is 365. Yeah, 318, 330. So if the lesser the occupancy rate, means the better the the listing or how booked it is. So if it has an occupancy rate of 1, it means it has been booked. No, yeah, if it has an occupancy rate of 1, that's 100%. It means it has been booked entirely. If it has 0, it means it has not been booked at all for that year. And the last thing is we are going to change the superhost. We saw the T and the F. No, you don't give that data to the analyst. You're going to be giving them these claims. You're going to create a case statement, and we are going to be updating the host is superhost. That even I've thought, even when I'm making the video, I had not even thought of doing that. So right now we have some experience. So let's do update listings. Then we have set, and then host is superhost, and then we have case statement. So when Host is superhost. Superhost equals to t so then it's true. Caps lock, and then we have when host is superhost. Superhost equals to false, then is false. Then you're going to else, I'm going to else none. Then you're going to end the case statement. Yeah, so you can see, let's look at, let's return this column. First is superhost. So false, false, true, false, false, true. Yeah, and nulls. Yeah, so you can see how we transform data. So this, among many more, this is how we can transform data in SQL. You don't need just to use Python for this. Yeah, but if now we have a lot of data, now we'll have used another tool called Spark. And Spark, you can use SQL in Spark, that's Spark SQL, or Python in Spark, that's PySpark. So this will be the end of this video. I hope you will I hope you have learned something. I hope you will implement some transformation techniques. This code will be available in linked in the below in the description of the video, and also the data. So till next time, bye.